What's going on there, YouTube? Welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, so I want to go ahead and continue our coverage over Heroes Reborn and cover another two-part storyline, better known as the Avengers fighting against the Hulk, or really more of the Hulk wrecks the Avengers and also wrecks Avengers Island as well. Now remember guys, this storyline does take place over in the Heroes Reborn reality, so this is the first time that the Hulk is meeting the Avengers and well, vice versa. And so with that being said, now before we properly sit down and dive into this storyline, I kind of want to re-explain the whole idea of Heroes Reborn, because just in case we have anybody just jumping into our coverage in this event and don't fully understand what Heroes Reborn was in the 1990s, I kind of want to give them a chance to understand what it was before we dive into the storyline. Now with that being said, in the late 1990s, when it came to Marvel Comics, they had this idea, which was Heroes Reborn, to kind of give characters a fresh start. And those characters were the ones who were no longer selling well over at Marvel Comics. Iron Man, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and of course, Captain America. Now, technically, for Steve Rogers, he was selling, but by that point in time, Marvel had made a deal. So unfortunately, he also got cut and put over into this new reality, better known as Heroes Reborn. And so with this new reality and with Marvel being able to bring back some old creators, they asked those creators to give those characters a fresh start in that brand new reality, hoping that it would bring fans back into those books all over again, especially for the Avengers and Fantastic Four, their team books. And that's why I said earlier that it would be the Hulk's first time fighting against the Avengers. But with that being said, we have to remember that for the Hulk, he was really more in Iron Man comics, because for Bruce Banner, he was working with Tony Stark as a scientist there. We also learn in that storyline that for Bruce, he was working on the Gamma Bomb. Now, the Gamma Bomb was technically a government project that Hydra found out. Now, for Bruce, he was working with Hydra, hoping that Hydra would go ahead and dismantle the bomb. But instead they wanted to use it. And so what Bruce did was he took the bomb into the center of the earth, not all the way to the core, but deep into the earth, and let the bomb explode down there. Now, for the rest of the world, they believed that Bruce had died at that moment, but in reality, he was turned into the Hulk. And so the first time we saw the Hulk in this brand new reality, he was fighting against, well, Tony Stark, Iron Man. But at the end of that storyline, he technically disappeared. Now, he did call a few people he did know very well to say hey, I'm not dead, I'm alive, but also I'm the Hulk. But that was really it. He was technically on the run. And so that is why, as we dive into the opening pages of the storyline, we're really picking up with Bruce right now being the Hulk, but on his way over to New York. And technically, he made his way over to New York with the outside parts of it. Now, you do have the military trying their best to follow the Hulk and kind of wondering what in the world to do here. But at the same time, they really can't do anything because this creature is very dangerous and powerful. Now, for the Hulk, he has no idea that him and Bruce Banner are the same person. And so for right now, for the Hulk, he's currently looking for Bruce Banner and go on a rampage to hopefully find Bruce. But now we kind of put that on hold because we do switch over to Hank Pym. Now for Hank Pym, he's currently in his lab right now working on Vision. And the reason why, because in our last storyline, when it came to our heroes fighting against Kang the Conqueror, Kang beat down on Vision. Well, really his ship did. But either way, Vision got badly injured. So right now for Hank, his main goal is to find a way to save, well, the Vision. Now, while he's trying to do that, he does get some help from Ultron. Now, in our last video, we had discussed the idea that for Ultron, he had begun to upgrade himself. But at this point in the storyline, he's no longer Ultron 2 like he was in our last storyline. Now, he's Ultron 4. Now, for Hank Pym, he's currently in his Ant-Man suit, so he's shrunk down to go inside the body of Vision. But you didn't have Ultron trap Hank Pym inside the body of Vision. And so by the time you have Janet come by looking for her husband, you have Ultron lie to Janet saying like, hey, listen, I have no idea where your husband could be yet. He has been here for a good while. But in reality, Ultron just saw Hank and trapped Hank inside, well, the body of Vision. But getting back over to the Hulk plot line, we do see the Hulk right now nearby this small body of water, where of course he sees the reflection of Bruce Banner, and he believes that Bruce must be nearby. Now, you do have this bird talk to Hulk and say, listen, if you're trying to find Bruce, why not go over to Avengers Island? Because Bruce Banner is over there. Now, this bird, of course, it's not your regular bird, but this bird right now is plotting against the Avengers because this is Loki. Because remember, for Loki, he made a deal with the Enchantress because she believes that her daughter is the Scarlet Witch. And so right now, she's trying her best to remove the Avengers, but also get a hold of her supposed daughter, better known as the Scarlet Witch. And really, as we do switch over to the Scarlet Witch, we see her with Agatha Harkness. The thing is, that's not the real Agatha. When it came to Loki, he trapped the real one inside a tree. And so right now, this is just the Enchantress pretending to be her as a way to get close to the Scarlet Witch. And so you do have her say like, listen, I feel like there's big trouble coming very soon, and we have to get you somewhere safe. And so you have the Enchantress, again, pretending to be Agatha Harkness, grab the Scarlet Witch and go somewhere else away from Avengers Island. Now, for a brief moment, we do jump over to Thor, right? And we see Thor just getting drunk at this bar. And apparently, he's been there all night. And so the owner of the bar is kind of afraid to kick Thor out because Thor is an Avenger. But it's also Thor right now just sitting there drinking a lot, but also kind of like talking to his hammer as well. Now, we do kind of jump over to Steve Rogers and Swordsman right now, going through a training session. Now, while going through that training session, you do have Steve being able to win against Swordsman, but the reason why you have Steve right now training with Swordsman is to teach him like, it's not enough to just take bold moves. You also have to realize what are the consequences of your actions when you take those bold moves. Now, you do have Steve and Swordsman continue with their training session. But now we have to switch over to Hawkeye, and this leads into the good old big battle between the Avengers and the Hulk, because you have Hawkeye right now on, watch duty. And so while watching all these different computer screens, he realized there's something big and green heading their way. And of course, that would be the Hulk. And so you have the Hulk coming here and yelling out like, hey, I'm looking for Bruce Banner. Where is Bruce Banner? And so you have the Avengers who are there right now. So Hawkeye, Swordsman, and also Captain America trying their best to fight against the Hulk. Now, I love the idea how Hellcat was there as well before Hulk arrived, but then she dipped out as soon as Hulk did arrive. But either way, by the end of the first chapter of the storyline, what you're seeing right now is a complete beatdown. It's the Hulk being able to defeat that entire Hulk team of the ones who are there right now on Avengers Island. But this leads into the next chapter where it's Thor fighting against the Hulk. And so as we dive into the 5th chapter, we're really picking up with Thor getting ready to battle against the Hulk. Like literally, you have Thor arrive, and most of this book is just Thor and Hulk fighting against one another, and kind of like, okay, cool, we get the idea. Like, these are two characters who are evenly matched for one another. Well, I mean, at first they are evenly matched because right when you have the Hulk believe Thor is down, Thor gets right back up. When you have Thor believe the Hulk is down, Hulk gets right back up. And so either way, it's kind of like, okay, cool. These two characters could fight for a very long time, and we may not see the actual outcome of this battle. Now, with this battle going on, of course, this brings S.H.I.E.L.D. into the picture. Now, for Nick, he gets word about what's happening. But basically that the Gamma Core has been damaged. And with the Gamma Core being damaged, that means the entire Eastern Seaboard could just be wiped out completely. Now, there are only 4 people who know how to handle that kind of bomb. One of them is, well, Dr. Doom's King of Latveria, One is Tony Stark, another one would be Reed Richards, and the other one is supposedly dead. But as you all know, he's not dead. It's the Hulk. But no one knows that Bruce Banner is the Hulk. And so this kind of leads into the ending of the storyline where you have the Hulk and Thor just continue to fight against one another. But by the end of the battle, it's really more of us seeing the Hulk being able to defeat Thor. And so we're kind of left to wonder, like, where could a storyline possibly go next? But here's the thing, because we can't officially just jump into issue number 6 just yet. And the reason why, because it's technically part of a crossover. So unfortunately, we're kind of ending here on a cliffhanger, but don't worry, we're going to cover that crossover very soon on the channel. But with that being said, guys, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.